Hey, what is going on, guys? YCS here, back with another video. And YCS Barcelona has come to a close, and the winner is a Macro Rabbit deck. We all kind of expected this to happen, since Macrocosmos basically just rapes all of the current format. Agents hate it. Of course, Mermails hate it. And the other top four deck, well, I mean, the other decks don't hate it to an extent. It's just really, really pesky, because it's like a side deck card in game one. That's how annoying it is. As for the main deck, it's pretty standard apart from a couple of tech cards, Neo, Space and Grammel. You can see them there yourselves. He also has 2 copies of Spirit Reaper instead of, just like the one tech Reaper. 3 Forbidden Lances are really, really important because the Guaibas need to get over stuff. They're not too worried about the likes of Abyss Megalo, but there's other big monsters that they like to be able to get over. That also justifies the reason why he has 2 copies of Soul Taker in his side deck. So the rest of the monsters, the 3 standard Capazol, Sabersaurus, 3 Guaiba, the 2 Rabbit, the Torguide Engine, the Sangan, and the Night Assailant. Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, double MST, and Book of Moon. As for the traps, 2 bottomless Trapple, very heavy trap lineup in this one, by the way. 2 Dimensional Prison, 2 Fiendish Chain, 2 Macrocosmos, the Solemn Brigade, Starlight Road, and 2 Torrential Tributes. As for the side deck, he has Gores, for any deck that attempts to OTK him, like a boss. Like Windups or something like that. 2 copies of Maxi, again, for Windups, or any deck that just likes to swarm like a crazy person. Maxi against a first turn Venus play isn't actually too bad either, because they summon Venus, they pay the life points, you drop Maxi. Then if they want to go into a Gachi, they're going to have to special summon twice more by paying once more and then overlaying into a Gachi. So you're basically going to +2 off that play if they don't want to just leave a Venus sitting there in attack mode with 1600 attack that really can't do much of anything. So don't underestimate the power of Maxi right now, because agents are really, really popular, I'm going to be honest. Mermails, not so much, because they're only really going to go into Megalo. Unless they're kind of trying to go for an OTK. They ditch a Dragoons and they search up a Deep Sea Diva, and they'd summon the Diva, go into a Marksman or whatever, attack, special summon the Dragoons. I play this deck all the time. Anyway, 2 Snowman Eaters, just really, really good tech against any deck that, has 1900 attack beaters, such as Thunder Kings. He also has the 2 Thunder King Ryos. Because pretty much every deck in the format searches right now. It's not so much for the tributing him to negate a special summon, because he main decks Macrocosmos, and the likelihood is that if it's on the field, face up on the field, it's face up for a reason, and it's to stop a certain deck from going off with its various graveyard effects. So the reason he puts in Thunder King is because there's so many decks that search. This deck does not, except with Sangan. Like the likes of Mermails go with their first turn Genix on name play and get rid of their Dragoons. Windups use Windup Factory. Agents use the Agent Mystery Earth, which is kind of a standard first turn play. So, he's really, really good against the searching. And, of course, Heroes, which you don't really see too often anymore, but are still very, very, very popular. I'm going to be making a video about them soon. It's kind of following on from my last series to do with Insectors, why Heroes are still good, basically. So keep an eye for that. Anyway, he has the 3rd copy of MST. MST just, kills the format, The only thing that it doesn't really do much against is Bisphere. And even then, he can just go, Macrocosmos. Because they normally go into an Abyssal Linda. Of course, in fact, it doesn't matter what they go into. It's not really going to help. 2 Noblemen of Crossout. He claimed for the Gear Game matchup, or any deck that runs flip effects, such as Chaos Dragons. 2 Soul Takers as well against Chaos Dragons, even though they're not nearly as good. It would still cause the likes of Elemental Hero the Shining to miss timing, as well as Pulsar Dragon. And it just enables them to get over big monsters, like Christia, who's just a dickhead when they bring him out first turn or something. I don't know if that's even possible, except with Valhalla, but I don't think anyone really uses that. 2 Dust Tornadoes, and finally 1 Macrocosmos. Dust Tornado just for a bit more back row hate, really. There's no other reason I can think of. As for the extra deck, he has Stardust Dragon. That's just basically to feed the Starlight Road if and when it occurs. 2 copies of Lagia and 2 copies of Dalka. 2 copies of Levier. They're kind of like the standard 6 card engine there to basically use the Rabbit over and over again. Which surprises me a little bit that he's not running Pot of Avarice, but of course, if he gets Macrocosmos on the field early, it's not really going to matter, and he's not really going to be able to use the Pot of Avarice. So he also has Maestroke, Utopia, Photon Babel Operative, Acid Golem, Gagaga Cowboy, who he claims helped him win the quarterfinals by putting him in defense mode as like a wall and inflicting 800 damage to his opponent twice. That's kind of trolly. He's the only... I think he's ultra rare. I'm not sure. Maybe he's super. But if so, I've gone so much Abyss Rising, and he's the only ultra / super rare card that I don't actually have from the set yet. So I want him. Not because he's good, just because I don't have him. Finally, we have Leviathan Dragon, 10 tempo, because he's so amazing against first turn XYZ plays. Just, bring him out, detach from your opponent's stuff, boost his attack points, and just end your turn, and then in their draw phase, detach again. You know how he works. You know how broken this card is. And finally, wind-up Zenmaines, like the ultimate defensive wall. Not so much anymore, because Black Ship of Corn is officially legal in the US. Not here in Europe, but it probably won't be legal for a while. That's why nobody was using it at this event. Quite a pity, really, because it's really good. So, regarding the deck, Rabbit was bound to win one eventually. I fully expected that it would happen. Inzectors took me a little bit off guard, but I could understand, main decking the likes of 3 Threatening Roars and 3 Called Honans, why it actually did that. And this deck, I fully understand why it won. Macrocosmos. I mean, you look at his trap lineup, he's basically got... What can he stop first turn plays with? Torrential Tributes, Solemn Warnings, Solemn Judgment, Fiendish Chains if they go into the likes... If he's against windups and they want to go Magician Shark, they're not really going to do a first turn unless they know that they're safe. But nonetheless, Fiendish Chain is just a really versatile card because everything nowadays relies on effects. I was a little bit surprised that he didn't have Abyss Dweller in his extra deck. I would have taken out Gagaga Cowboy for that, but if it indeed won him, got him to the semi-finals, then who am I to argue with it? But, on paper, you would say that the odd card out is, of course, Gagaga Cowboy. Abyss Dweller is just so good, but he doesn't really care about having Abyss Dweller or not because he has 2 copies of Macrocosmos. So what is he worried about? So, the Rabbit matchup is still very much a dangerous one in this format. You really need to watch out because the first turn Rabbit play is still one of the most broken plays in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And nobody main decks Effect Failures anymore, and even if they did, if he's going for a second Rabbit, he's probably going to have Macrocosmos face him on the field by that point. I'm not saying the Macrocosmos is like the most amazing overpowered card ever, because people do run MSTs. In fact, the majority of decks nowadays in the top 4 main 3 MSTs, or at least 2 MSTs, and Heavy Storm. So, I'm not saying that, he always got Macrocosmos out, or it's basically what won him every game. I'm just saying that as an option, with the ability to side in another MST against what people may side against him, and another Macrocosmos, what did he really have to be worried about? Of course, I haven't looked at any of the individual matches that this guy actually played in. Nevertheless, I can assume that they did involve Macrocosmos in almost all of them. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of the fact that Rabbit won. I'm not asking what you thought of the deck, simply because everyone knows Rabbit at this point, and the only card that's really kind of a little different is Neospatial Grandmole, which is just really good against generic Synchro monsters that aren't Allergist Catastor, or XYZs of any kind, basically. He just cleared the board for his Rabbits and his Guivas and whatever else, and then just, pushed for game from there. Kind of a general description of most of his duels, I would say. Anyway, guys, that is it for the video. 41 card deck. Winner of YCS Barcelona, Macro Rabbit. Catch you guys later. See ya.